Welcome to S.H.I.F.T, a safe haven in honor of Linda, the beloved sister and best friend of your dynamic and inspirational host, Lisa Council. You will experience uplifting and encouraging testimonies of women, men, and teens who have survived and overcome domestic abuse and trauma.
Welcome to a special episode of S.H.I.F.T. Today I have joining with me two of my favorite people. One who has been my coach, my mentor, my shoulder to lean on, the one that talked me off the ledge, the one that just keeps me going, the one who I have received all of my education in the classroom and outside of the classroom, who set me on my couch and counseled me, my family members, my daughter, my mother, and I don't consider her to be a sister friend. This lady here is my sister. She is my family. And this is none other than mental health consultant, QueenAfi. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight, Queen.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then I have my sister here, my sister, my fellow domestic violence mentor. Lori is always uplifting and inspiring everyone. Lori is always giving us a joke and just making us laugh. And you know, they say, you all, laughter is the best medicine next to prayer. Okay. So if you can't find something to laugh at, sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself all the time. I'm always doing something silly or goofy to laugh at myself. So Lori, I am honored to have you here with me on tonight. It's been a long time since we've seen one another. I'm hoping to get a hug in person soon. Soon. So listen, y'all, we're gonna dive right into this thing. As we know that there has been what society is deeming an uptick in domestic violence. And I just wanted to bring on some experts so we can discuss that and so that we can break it down. And lately, what I've been seeing in the news and on social media is that we're in a femicide crisis. And femicide is the intentional killing of women and girls because of their gender. Okay. It is regarded as the most extreme form of gender-based violence, frequently perpetrated by an intimate partners or family members. This includes cases of intimate partner violence, so-called honor killings, okay, and domestic violence that results in death. Queen and I can both attest to this, and I just want to know right up front, are we in a femicide crisis?
It seems that we could be, especially, with the last couple of cases that, we're going to chime into a little bit here today, where women are being, killed. I mean, and they've been some just slaughtered. I mean, literally, it's just ridiculous how bad this situation is. And I think the social media, the internet is all helping it be bad, and helping this is for real. Back in the day, you didn't get this up close picture like this, everybody in your business,
Yes.
But now it's like, oh my God. So we have these terms, the education that is starting to make sense to us, because most people don't even know what femicide is, but now we starting to tap into that education. We starting to speak that language about that. To me, lets me know how serious it really is. Like, it's a whole thing. It's not just he killed his girlfriend, or he killed his wife. This is like, femicide is huge. It's huge, global. It's global.
Yes, absolutely global.
When you start using that word like that, we definitely in a crisis. in America. So I would have to say yes.
Lori, what would you say, or what is your feeling when it comes to the children? We're seeing upticks, in cases of domestic violence and sadly in cases of murder. But why are the children always sort of shoved to the side? Oh, we talk about the children and we talk about how it affects the children, but then somewhere along the line, we'll say things like, oh, they're resilient, they're bounce back, oh, they can handle trauma and things better than adults can. When do we focus on the children who are living in these households, who are seeing this and hearing this before it even leads up to murder?
Hmm.
Sometimes I really do wish I had an answer for that, because it's like we've hidden this for so long. It's been a hidden secret, and we're supposed to stay in these families and we're supposed to work it out. And the kids are so accustomed to it. Like, I don't even know how I want to answer that. The kids are so accustomed to this, that everything is going to be okay, or we're going to keep everything in our household, and we're going to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to deal with it, and we're not going to talk about it. Who knows? These kids could be running out telling all types of people, but sometimes those things have to be kept secret in the home, and we don't talk about those things. We're not supposed to run and tell somebody, and somebody's supposed to intervene. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I really wish I did have an answer for it, but sometimes I don't know anymore, because I mean, you know how it is for us when we go and we speak. I know for me, I've been told certain times, well, I don't want you to say X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, if you don't want me to say X, Y, and Z, then I don't need to be here, because what I'm not going to do is sugarcoat it. So I
Yeah,
just don't. I think kids are being told, okay, well, what happens in this family, it's going to stay right here, and you know, and then and they're just not. It's not spoken about so much. I don't know, because I mean, just like with the situations we have now, and the poor kids that were there and experienced that. Sometimes I want us to, we really need to sit in that moment. These kids were
yeah,
there when a lot
yeah,
of these situations
yeah,
have happened. We need to
yeah.
we need to run for them kids, and we need to embrace these children at this moment.
Yeah.
They don't have
You're
no time to
right.
be they don't have no time to be shoved away, or we don't have time to go to the next thing. We need to deal with this at hand now.
Yeah.
Mm,
I was just thinking about something you said, and it says when you said that we need to deal with this at hand, and we even take the murders and we sweep them under the rug.
mm,
I
mhm,
remember
mhm,
when we lost my sister, and we didn't lose
mhm,
my sister. My sister was murdered
mhm, mhm,
heinously. We did not lose her. Someone took her from us. She was brutally murdered. The way she was murdered, they don't even slaughter animals that
Hmm.
way, okay? And I just remember, and I focus on it now, and I kind of tap into it, and I'm like, you know what? We were kind of taught each one another as a family that we just go on. We don't talk
mhm,
about it. She
mhm,
doesn't exist anymore.
mhm,
It's too painful to like tap into. But then you're carrying all of this weight around on you for
mhm,
years and decades. And when we think about the children, and then we want to ask the children, well, what's your problem? What's wrong with you? I'm suffering. And then you're making me suffer in silence. They're carrying
mhm,
on the weight, like I said, leading up to the murders. So I just hope and pray that we can get to a day where we can focus more on the children, leading up to all of these things, and then feeling as though they have to carry the load by themselves and
mhm,
build up brick, 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 wall after wall after wall. So, I always like to do research. And so I was doing some research here recently, and And I came up with a statistic that shares that between 2011 and 2023, DV cases have risen by 30%. So why isn't anyone talking about it until it's a high profile crime?
Or you want to chime in there because you got that Virginia case, that lieutenant governor on your plate.
I mean, I'm going to go back to again. We're supposed to move on. It happened, and we're supposed to move on, and we're not supposed to sit there, and we're not supposed to talk about it, and I mean, I don't know what else more to say. That's how it is. We're supposed to be sad for a second, and then we're supposed to go on to the next thing, and then 2 months down the road, we don't even talk about that situation anymore. It should be brought to the forefront every single day. Those kids should be brought to the forefront every single day. And we should be talking about those kids. What are we going to do with those kids? Should have been in therapy the day after, if not that day.
That's right.
And I'm not talking about the therapy. I'm talking about, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about the QueenAfi therapy, because
absolutely,
amen,
amen.
Like
Listen,
you said,
that's the
Lisa,
only thing that works.
like you said, Lisa, I've been there. I've been on the medication, and I suppressed the pain. I didn't get to go down that road like I did with Queen. And Queen,
absolutely.
I mean, hell, there was days I couldn't even talk for 2 days after the fact because it was so deep. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and I thank God for her every day. But I think, especially like for these children, I think like they need to have things like this in place for them, and people that can really assist them move on, because you can't accept them to be 16 and then when they're 32 and then they've spiraled out of control, and then you want to know why. Like you said, what's wrong with you? What do you mean what's wrong with you? My parents were murdered.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. My parents were murdered. That's why
absolutely.
I'm half crazy. That's why I'm going through what I'm going through. That's why I'm beating up walls and everything else, because I'm dealing with that nobody has dealt with from the time I'm 16 to 32 or whatever age. You know what I mean? So
whatever age.
You know, I want to chime in before Queen comes in because I want to hear what our good teacher has to say. And you know, coming from the teacher side, but also from the mental health consultant side. You know, I go back to this needs to be done. It needs to be said. It needs to be talked about. But we see that, we hear of these cases, we see them in the news, and then we're overloaded and bombarded with it on social media. So it's almost as if we're being traumatized from the news. We're being re-traumatized because we're hearing it over and over and over on social media. Then we have our conspiracy theorists, who that's a whole nother different story right there. Then we are filled with lies and everyone trying to make up something and everyone trying to figure something out as if, you know, and they feed this stuff to us, and like, you know, they were right there in the room. And that is where it can be so triggering, and people don't even understand or know that they're being triggered or that they're being traumatized because you're hearing this stuff over and over and over again. And Lori, you said it. And okay, and in two weeks we move on from it. What do we do, Queen?
Well, we're talking about the children here. Femicide, right? Is the deliberate act of a parent killing their own child. Right? Which is back to a global word, a global issue.
Yes.
There's so many households across the globe that is experiencing this, right? And the abuser is often very selfish, right?
Yes.
The abuser, of course, wants to find ways to punish the victim. And or if not kill the victim. And you know, when we are in these relationships, it's always the victim's fault.
Yes.
Is always at fault. Well, the victim is at fault because I had to kill her, because it was her fault. It was her fault. had she would have agreed or got on board with me having these sexual allegations, right? Things could have worked out.
Yes.
We wouldn't be in separate rooms if she could just be that victim that I groomed years ago, right? Because
Yeah.
the former governor's wife wanted to break that cycle. She was done, but you can't be done in a household with a person who has sexual allegations and children are involved, and the children don't experience this heat too. Because it's a never ending story. That lady ain't getting no sleep.
Right. And the children either.
And once you start, I have a young girl that she talks to me every now and then, right? And she say, but he a good father though. I said, how? He tried to kill you. If he trying to kill you, he's trying to kill your children.
Yes.
How is that a good father?
Yes.
You see, but everybody want the best father for their children. I believe the governor's wife wanted the same thing. The former governor's wife, she wanted the same thing. The best for her children. She wanted a good father, stand-up guy. And that's who he appeared to be for so many years until the allegations came out, till he got caught. Okay, so yeah, I got caught. You supposed to be with me till, thick and thin through it all. Then why I feel like you turning your back on me? Like, I feel like you're not with me at this point. Like, you doing, like, this is not normal. This is not you. So the victim become at fault for that. Then you have the Shreveport murders where Private Elkins called his mother and the stepfather and said he felt like he wanted to kill himself. Where if you wanted to kill yourself, why are 8 children dead? Why are 8 children dead? Okay.
Correct.
Then 2 mothers have been shot. Right? And then you still didn't kill yourself.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to kill yourself. I thought you wanted to kill yourself. Okay, so you didn't really want to kill yourself. You wanted to kill the children, and you wanted to kill me.
To hurt the mother even further if she did not die. I'm going to take everything that you love and cherish.
And at the same breath, nobody can't do nothing to me because I done made the police kill me, so I'm good. Never had no intentions of killing himself.
Absolutely.
He had every intention of killing her and killing the children. And
absolutely. I hate you so much because you have made a conscious decision that you're not putting up with me anymore. So now I'm going to punish you to the end. And we see this time and time again. The news is acting like this is all of a sudden something that's brand new. We've never seen it before. We haven't heard of it before. Internationally, globally, locally, domestically, all of a sudden, everybody, as I stated, want to jump on the bandwagon. So you feed us the news, you traumatize us, and then you just leave us out to hang, which goes back to what a lot of us learned in the household. Oh, just brush it under the rug and move on and you'll be okay.
In some of them spaces, you better off just brushing it under the rug, moving on, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your life is at risk.
I also think, Lisa and Queen, I honestly really, from what I've learned, and I'm still learning from Queen every day, because number one, it's not a 6-month process. It's lifelong process. It's not, and people, when they say, oh, I've been in therapy for 6 months, I'm like, well, you just beginning. If you went to what I was in, you're just beginning. So therapy is a lifelong lesson. But when I watch the news and I see people speak on it, they're not educating people, and they're just reporting it. And I think that they're not, I think that they honestly don't know. I really do. I think, because I listen a lot of times, and I'm like, you know what? They're just reporting what they need to report.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're here to educate, because I don't really think they're not educators. They're here to report
Yeah.
a situation, and that's it.
Yeah. You're looking. Oh, you go ahead and chime in.
Let me dive in it real quick if I lose my thought. So back to 1975 when the movement started.
Mm-hmm.
In 1975, it was started, but so women could, get in a position where they can end domestic violence for themselves. Well, it's not trending like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not trending like that. No, they still talking about it like that, but it's not trending like that anymore. Research is showing that anybody at that dinner table could be victim turned abuser, right?
Yes.
And then you would never get up there and hear nobody talk about the abuser side education. Okay.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
they think that victims can just leave the relationship because they still stuck back in the 1975 movement.
My.
And it's not trending like that anymore. Right? Now you're having it where you got teens in these relationships, girl to girl, male to male. You got adult relationships, male and male, female and female. Right? You have it parent child, like we talking about now. It wears many tags at this point. We got elders that are in it with their children, fighting and feuding. So it's trending in so many directions. Research is showing that, but people that we see out there are literally still stuck in 1975.
So let's dive right into this. We're seeing the news, social media, and other outlets, entities blaming domestic violence and quote unquote uptick in these murders or femicide or on mental illness.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's always the case?
Absolutely not.
Could it just be that he or she just said, you know what? You're not going anywhere. You belong to me. And if you think you walking out that door, you kicking me out that door, you a lie.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Why are we blaming every single thing on mental illness? We see that that's become the hot topic here lately. Everyone wants to diagnose everyone.
Yeah,
it's easier.
They're not leaving it up to you, Queen.
I'm trying to tell you, listen, domestic violence and mental health are two separate dinner table conversations, okay?
Thank you.
Two separate dinner table conversations. You got to get to the root causes of the trauma before you can start talking about some mental illness.
Yes.
And again, as we always talk about, is that general therapy piece where victims are only getting general therapy.
Yes.
Right? So you can sit in there and waste time. What? Right? What are you actually getting educated on or supposed to be talking about or supposed to be learning about? You see what I mean, in this conversation, but they're two separate, domestic violence can bring on the mental illness.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It brings on the mental illness. Okay, so what is the root cause? The root cause is probably domestic violence. Childhood, adolescent, adulthood is what the root causes of, some of the mental illnesses are. Also with mental illness, some of the causes are what? DNA. Some things run in the blood.
Yes.
Okay? And some, there's a lot of mentally ill people who don't have no cases with domestic violence.
Absolutely.
They don't have no cases with domestic violence. But like you're saying, they trying to lump the two together, and that's victims doing that. Victims are making an excuse for their abusers.
Oh, absolutely. Because the one thing I know that Lori and I and countless others have learned in class is that the one thing that both have in common, and is that they're both liars. The victim is a liar and the abuser is a liar. And listen, when I learned that blew my mind. And you know what? I had to go put myself on the couch. We were sitting in chairs, but I needed a couch when I learned that, because I'm like, let me raise my hand right now, because I have made the worst abuser look squeaky clean, okay?
Squeaky clean. And you called me tomorrow. Talking about you doing a resume for this person who strangled you yesterday. You doing a
Absolutely,
resume.
absolutely. I never forget one day I looked my grandmother in her face and told her, "Oh yeah, he's a good man, and he had strangled me the day before." Yeah, lying, lying,
Lying.
lying, lying, lying. Don't even know at the time what I need. So
Right.
y'all,
Exactly.
tell me this. You know, this is the thing that is a hard topic, but it needs to be discussed.
That's right.
How do we hold the church accountable?
Oh God.
Because you know what? Oftentimes we've gone into the churches, we've shared our testimonies in the churches, you've taught in the churches, we've had broken to boldness in the churches, we've had survivor stories in the churches, we've had domestic violence wears many tags in the churches, we've had countless other, advocates and activists in the churches. And I'm just going to be quite honest and put it out there. You know what? It's time to stop playing. Stop inviting us out to the church just because you want to say that you've done something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are sending the abuser and the victim back home to be beat or killed.
That's right.
We have looked pastors in the face when we knew that he or she did not want us in their church.
That's right.
And went home the same night and beat the crap out of their spouse and their children. When do we hold the church accountable? And you know what? And then this is a twofold. As Christians, we operate out of a place of forgiveness because that's what the Bible tells us to do. When are we going to stop sending these victims home to forgive their abusers, and they might not wake up the next morning, male and female?
Right. Yeah. That part.
When are we going to stop? How can we hold them accountable? How can we get them the teaching? They need to be in domestic violence wears many tags classroom.
All day.
How can we get them the teaching that they need so that they can shift from the mindset? And you know what? That was just that wasn't a coincidence. To shift their mindset so that we can reel it back in and get a hold on this thing. Since everybody is saying that, oh, there's an uptick or it's out of control, it's been out of control.
Yeah.
What do we do?
But that's going to be a fight because they always say that God said, and whatever they say next. That's what I'm saying. Because when I've gone to the church, they've always said, well, and I've been told when you speak on certain things, you can't talk about this, that, and the other. And I said, well, you can't have me in here if I'm not going to talk about this, that, and the other, because that's what needs to be said. Because I understand that you want me to bring God in it. I understand, but I need to tell you the truth. And I need to be upfront and honest with you about what's really going on and what you really need to speak about in these churches. And I've been told, well, maybe we don't need you right now. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because what I'm not going to do is come in here and sugarcoat it. And I'm not going to come in here and say that, I think you should go home tonight when you come in here looking the way that you're looking with your sunglasses on and two black eyes and a broken nose. I can't tell you that it's going to be okay. That's what they want us to do. It's going to be okay because listen, because God said, well, God didn't say.
So we just going to pray and we just going to pray and forgive the hell out of them, huh?
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to do.
Pray and stay.
Pray and stay.
Good one.
It's just going to magically disappear.
Yeah.
Meaning that could happen. It could happen miraculously. We who am I to say? But
right.
I'm just speaking on what I've seen.
The numbers, there's not a lot of numbers that show that. With the church, okay, the church does not have the research, the qualitative or the quantitative or the mixed methods out there regarding domestic violence in the church. Right? You might get members who have done dissertations, but that's their own personal journey. But leadership, having training and really going through the process of understanding that victims need to be educated and abusers need to be educated. Otherwise, we're not coming full circle with the subject, with the root causes, or with their education, learning the language that you need to learn. So why is that? My mom said is because they could be doing it. Leadership in the church could be doing it.
Yeah, so absolutely.
They don't want that extension to, you know, rub people the wrong way. Some pastors have admitted, you know, I was a whoremonger, I was a womanizer, I did women wrong, I did very little in small numbers. Does that happen? I've never attended a church where a woman admitted to being a whoremonger or, using men for money and taking advantage of them, and now they have changed their life around. Women do not, they don't play fair in this conversation.
They don't.
You let your husband
They
get up
certainly
there
don't.
and be sitting there manipulating the church, and everybody
Absolutely.
let your husband do that. You on board with the cockamamie bull crap that your husband is doing to the congregation, when the whole time it could be happening to her. Right? And then some of them look at it like, you know, where he ain't physically hit me, it's just talk, it's just verbal. Well, we know verbal is the number one tag.
Right.
That's sometimes worse.
The best abuse,
absolutely.
The best abuse in the world do not even touch the victim at all.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have to.
Can't put a Band-Aid on it.
We have some of the best abusers up in them pulpits.
Absolutely.
Some
Abusers, manipulators, narcissists. Absolutely.
And so the church, unfortunately, the research is just not there from them.
Right.
It's not there from them, and we don't know what the trend is. Like, what goes on in my house stays in my house. We don't really know what's trending inside of the church, because there's no research there for us to really pull from to evaluate, okay, so what do we need to say in terms of this conversation when we come out to a congregation? Because we really should be speaking to leadership.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, number one, yes.
Number one, we really should be speaking to leadership about domestic violence and seeing how much is it that they know. You will also be able to tell if there are tendencies still there, and or if they have worked on stuff. You want to be able to, right, by being there and working with leadership and having this conversation with leadership. Leadership don't want to have a conversation. They don't want to do the research, and they don't have a conversation. When the 501c3s did not come because of domestic violence, the 501c3s came because of the HIV and AIDS crisis. Yes. Everybody, all the churches and everybody want to jump on board with a 501c3. Well, like you said, quote unquote, these murders are up. Where are the $1 million grants that, y'all gave for HIV and AIDS?
Right.
Why are y'all not giving it to domestic violence if the numbers are out of control and there's been a spike in domestic violence?
Absolutely.
They probably doing it.
Yeah, and we've talked on our churches, and I can go on, but what about our government and our states? The funding that they cut off first and foremost is always going to be when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to mental illness, when it comes to child care, and we can go on. So now we're seeing an uptick in government and state coming on and say, oh, we're going to allocate funding here and we're going to allocate funding there. But you just cut it last year.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, you want to allocate here because of what you heard on the news, what took place in Virginia and what took place in Shreveport. But we can't even get into the safe houses. We can't even get into the schools. We can't even get to where we need to go because you cut the funding. But now all of a sudden, we pushing funding over here, or we're opening in this up. Is that all to make themselves look good and like they're doing something?
Another piece of this is the insurance.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
the tendency to re-traumatize when we come in there.
Mm-hmm,
We have a tendency to re-traumatize people.
Yeah, and traumatize ourselves as well.
Definitely traumatizing ourselves. We're reliving, something that's very real, but we can't allow you to re-traumatize the people. And you don't have any insurance to cover that.
My.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you gotta tread lightly on, what
you know what? I'm triggered all over again.
You gotta tread lightly because we don't have the insurance to cover what you getting ready to tell our people at the end of the day. So I'm gonna need you to say this. I'm gonna need you to leave that alone. I'm gonna need you to tiptoe around that because we can't afford to pay out lawsuits.
Yes.
Because we brought a speaker in who wasn't covered.
Yes. My. And this is why I thought it was really important to do this session tonight. Honestly, like I said early on, I didn't want to do it. One is just too triggering for me personally, and you all can feel how you want to feel. Yes, advocates get triggered too, okay? Live with the nightmare every single day.
Every day.
Don't even want you to walk in my shoes at all. And so I didn't want to touch on this, but I knew that it needed to be touched on, and because there's just so much that people don't know and don't understand, and they're seeing the news and they're seeing social media, and it's just sort of spiraling out of control. But I know that soon it's going to all just magically disappear. It won't even be talked about anymore until the next big case.
I already think it has disappeared.
Well, absolutely. It's slowing down. It's slowing down, Lori. It's slowing down.
Right.
I even, I was kind of tapping into the news or whatever and social media over the weekend, and I'm like, oh, they're getting real quiet now. Now we got the conspiracy theorists, saying whatever that there is that they want to say. So what would you all say that victims and abusers need most? And I know that's going to look differently for each individual, even though it's the same thing. It's domestic violence, or rather it be trauma or whatever. But what would you say, what is the most important thing that both victims and abusers need right now in the time that we're in?
I mean, I'll say before Queen jumps on, because she's so educated in this. And I'm going to keep going back to it. Education, and when I say education, I mean I'm talking about an education from like a queen, because or somebody that has experienced it. I thank God for the people that have gone to school for this, but I also think it's very important for more people that have experienced it to be able to share and give more insight, and give insight like a queen does. Because again, she puts you in the classroom and she educates people. It's not a, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong with medication. It didn't work for me, but I think when I went to Queen, that was the medication that I needed. I needed the truth. And I don't think we're sharing the truth, and the people that are given the education is not given the deep word. They're a lot of times they won't go back to childhood and move forward, because a lot of times I think we can't just talk about one particular thing. We have to clean this closet for real. And I don't think there's enough resources for that. And I don't think there's enough people to continue to share, because I mean, you know, we know a lot of advocates. We know what we try to do, but even when I'm on social media and I'm trying to get in comments, I'll get in comments, and people are so uneducated. It almost makes me sick to my stomach, because I'm like, you don't even, I got somebody today for something that they said, and I'm like they kind of made a joke out of a video. And I'm like, what's funny? I want to know what made you think this was funny. Let's talk about this. You know what I'm saying? But people, they won't respond, or, you know, because again, they don't know. So for me, going back to your question, I think education. I don't know what else to say. Education. They need to be educated more.
Yeah.
Before Queen closes us out, and she didn't know that she was closing us out, but it's only right and fair. She's our teacher. She's our
Yes.
expert.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I would say this honestly. I just have so many pent up in emotions when it comes to this. You all, it I really need to be sitting on the couch again right after this, honestly. You know, I look at this thing from the clinical side, and I also look at it from the victim side, but more importantly, I look at it from the educational piece.
Yeah.
I really wasn't in tune or understood domestic violence, even after being a victim, until I was educated. I went to therapy. They tried to put me on medication, and I'm like, nope, not doing that. Because I remember when my sister was murdered in the beginning, and I was going to what you call a day treatment center. And the first thing they wanted to do was convince me that I was homicidal. Well, excuse my language, but you right I am. My sister was brutally murdered. Do you think I shouldn't have feelings of wanting to kill the person that killed her? And I'm being honest. Everybody will hear. I'm being honest. Yeah, I'm homicidal.
Yeah.
Let me him. You know what I mean? And no, I'm not taking medication. You're not putting that in my permanent record that I had to take medication to try to suppress my trauma so that I can have to come back and deal with it later. No, we're not going to do that. Yeah, I'm homicidal. And and I'll get through it when I get through it. But I look at this thing from a clinical standpoint, and I have nothing against that and all of the educational, all of the education and such that therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists and clinical social workers or whatever it is they've gone through. But sometimes they don't look at it from a human perspective.
They don't.
We can't get healed, and we can't move on that path to that yellow brick healing if we are sitting on the couch or in the chair with people who aren't looking at this from a human point of view and are telling us how we should feel about trauma.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not educated on that side, but I feel like sometimes I know more than them. I can teach them something because I've walked in those painful shoes and I still walk in those painful shoes. They are painful. So I think honestly, along with their education that they've received and all of the degrees that they have, maybe they also need to be educated by a domestic violence mental health consultant and someone who can educate them. Man, wouldn't have never got to where I am right now, sitting here talking to you all, if I had never came upon QueenAfi. I would still be somewhere right now, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I'm going to say it because when I met Queen, it was a walking time bomb.
Amen.
And it wasn't until she gave me the education and the tools that I needed. You look at her, be like, how you doing? And I'd be like, fine. Oh, first thing, what we not gonna do is lie. I'm gonna tell you how you doing.
Right. Right.
Hey.
Right.
And you can take it however you want, because I don't care.
Right. Oh
But
gosh.
see, that's what work. You can't Cinderella this. You can't sugarcoat this. You
Absolutely.
can't make something that's so ugly and traumatizing beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with work. And it wasn't until I started getting that educational piece that I was so intrigued. It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that there was an educational piece when it came to domestic violence.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, she's been living in my closet my whole
Right.
life. Like, why are you in my head? Get out my
Right.
head. And I
And
could
got it.
never
Look,
like
had a nerve to get an attitude about it too.
bingo. And you know what? But that's the one thing I didn't. But when I knew that it was too much for me, I'd be like, Queen, I can't do it right now. You know what I mean? I can't do it right. I just can't
Right.
do it right
Right
now.
now.
Just
Yeah.
but what do we do? What do we do, Queen? What do we do here to close us out, Queen? What do we do?
Folk have
Where do
got
we go
to,
from here?
Lord Jesus, folk have got to wake up and smell the coffee. For God's
Jesus.
sake, that's easier said than done, though.
Mm.
It's easier said than done because, you have so many secrets
Mm.
Yeah.
with domestic violence. There's so many secrets. One
Yeah.
person has, several secrets. And who can I really expose this to? Like, who could I really, like tell this to? And then when I did try to tell it, they didn't believe me or they shut me down. Or I later felt like maybe I told the wrong person. Like I shouldn't talk about it anymore. Right. But once you come into the classroom, we're not focused on any of that. The focus is those many tags of domestic violence because I know that we don't know these. We
Yeah.
don't know these like we need to know these. We don't know the backstory like we need to know the backstory. Again, America has educated and has criminalized women and men for physical abuse when we know that the abuse is coming for your mind,
Mm.
Yeah.
coming for your mind, coming for your emotion, coming to steal you from you. Literally, there is no
Mm.
challenge to the abuse unless I can steal you from you. That
Mm.
I win, right? That's when I win.
Mm.
That is when I put all kind of unrealistic expectations on you, and you can't think between the forest and the trees. You can't.
Mm.
You're literally brainwashed. So you working with the amygdala,
Mm-hmm.
right? The back of the brain. We always do our education on be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right?
Yes.
So pulling those things up from the amygdala, bringing them to the front of the prefrontal cortex, and really taking a deep dive look and say, well, wow, that is what I was doing, or I could have did this, or dang, I wish I would have took a second to think about that, right? And I'm telling you, I find this with victims and abusers.
Mm.
It's be so far at the back of their brain. They've never heard of the amygdala. They've never
Yes.
heard of the prefrontal cortex. They don't understand how this dialogue is confusing them. And why we say, why are you so numb to the situation, right? So breaking down those areas of the brain to let them understand this is what's really going on. This is what's really going on. And so everything that they told us in the South, we all know that's a lie now.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they was
Mm.
talking about in the South, honey, that's bull crap. The prefrontal cortex
Mm-hmm.
does not process like that. It does not process what goes on in my house, stays in my house, sweep it under the rug. The prefrontal cortex does not process like that. So getting victims and abusers in that classroom space to be able to start them understanding the amygdala versus the prefrontal cortex. right?
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it will take longer than others. And being able to center that particular piece of education around the many tags of domestic violence. So where I have victims who have found out that they are $1 million in debt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
$1 million
Absolutely.
in debt.
Mm-hmm.
And you still telling me, Queen, I'm gonna go out and look for a house. How?
Mm.
Right? We getting ready to chop all this down. We getting ready to smell the coffee. Okay. So all the way to the point where you gotta, and I don't mean no harm, when we do the education, I don't mean no harm, but I do know that education will save your life.
Absolutely.
Amen.
I do know
Amen.
that the
Absolutely.
education will save your life, and the way we pose it and centered around, those many tags of domestic violence. And then of course there's other things that you can do, which is your movement, your drama therapy,
Yes.
incorporate that. We can also incorporate, speaking ability, being able to speak up and understand what you're speaking about, as well as body language, taking into play your body language, because victims sit slumped over
Mm.
with their neck and their
Mm-hmm.
chest, right?
Yes.
And they always seemingly are downward position.
Yes.
So helping the
Absolutely.
victim understand that they in a world of buku tears, upset. I mean, cannot believe that your body language is telling me you are a victim of
Absolutely.
domestic violence. Who's talking about that? Nobody not talking
Yes.
about that. They not doing that because specialized care does not happen for domestic violence. You're going to
Mm.
get general therapy.
Yes.
You're going to get. You're going to get general therapy sessions, and you're damn if you do, and you're damn if you don't in a setting like that. I don't recommend that. I do recommend that you get the education for domestic violence, because it allows you that space again to go, like Lori said, go a little deeper,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, okay, so the amygdala does this and the prefrontal cortex does this. So how do I get this process? Now you got to remember too that victims come with a lot of substance abuse problems. They come with
Mm-hmm.
some of them have, some of them are victims of STD because they've sold their bodies in this process. They come with human trafficking. They come, which the tags speak to all: verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. The tags speak to all of that. When we can chop those tags down and get them that education, and they start looking at themselves like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's for the
It's
victim and the abuser.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing, you all. It's amazing. I can attest to it myself, and I know Lori can, and countless others.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. We have to close out our session, sisters. I want to thank you both for being here on this evening. I pray that this session will bless someone. I pray that this session will help someone to come out. I pray that this session will empower someone to get what they need. Again, I want to thank QueenAfi. Domestic violence wears many tags. Queen can be found on IG. Queen can be found on Facebook. Queen can
Right.
be found. If you can't find her, reach out to me. I want to thank my dear sister Lori Carter, the beautiful movement. Lori can be found on social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. If you can't find Lori, again, you can reach out to me. I want to thank our beautiful producer, who's always inspiring us all, Portia. Portia. I could never ever do this without you, ever, you all. Portia just inspires and it empowers me. She's just not my producer, but she honestly just empowers me and just keeps me growing and is always giving me feedback and just, you know, pulling me and expanding me to grow and come out of my comfort zone. A lot of people don't know, but I don't like to do this. I honestly don't like to do this. So as much as I do talk, I don't like to talk. I don't. But God said so. So
Right.
be it. I'm inviting you both back because something that stuck out to me on this session is secrets.
Secrets. Lord
Mm.
Jesus.
So we're coming back because I want to know, is it really a secret?
It really is.
So we coming back for this, lady. This is definitely a part two. Is it really a secret? Were we brushing under the rug? Did it really stay under the rug? Did some of the remnants come out? Did some of the dust like particles go up in the air and come down?
Hey.
Right.
Because some of these secrets that you all think are secrets, they are not secrets, okay? Even the little kids know. They just can't articulate it. So again, I thank each of you. And before we just say our good night, of course, I always want to share the domestic violence hotline for any of you that may be in a crisis, for any of you that may need help. They can help you and they can guide you. And that number is 1-800-799-7233. God bless you. We love you. Thank you. Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags, my forever family. Thank you, Lori Carter, the beautiful movement. It is so great to see your face, and I want to see your face in person. And we'll
Absolutely.
be back, y'all, because we want to know, is the secret really a secret? So,
That part.
as Queen always says, peace and love.
What are you doing to heal? Remember, your healing is imperative. Healing renews, soothes, and makes you whole. Shift. See you right here next time.